Alright, what's up guys? Gonna do an update. Here's the Mustang. So, I know I told a lot of people I'd be doing emissions and stuff like 4 or 5 days ago, and I did. So here's the update, and I'm gonna say right now I'm not in the best mood, so if I say something stupid like that video where I was pissed about the stupid alternator bracket, if I sound ridiculous, it's because of that. I'm not thinking too logical because I'm pissed. So, this is the test I ran the first time on so fucking is this the first one? Yeah, this is the first one. Okay, I think there might have been another one. Anyway, so here's the readings. Okay, I'm just gonna jump right into it, try to make this quick. Here's the hydrocarbon readings. This is what I failed for. Okay, the limit is 2.0. It did a 3.39. That's as the Mustang was. No little tricks. The only trick was the exhaust being loose. Like I said, the smog pump and all that shit I said in the other videos, okay? All that other shit. So it was over 50% higher. Limits 2.0, it read 3.39, okay? Really fucking high. So I tried another trick that a lot of people know about, which is denatured alcohol. You pour alcohol in the tank, you run the tank down. I had to drive it a while. Ran the tank down and put alcohol in it, okay? So I put in 2 gallons of alcohol, and I don't think there's much in the tank. There's probably a 1-to-1 ratio of alcohol, or pretty close to that. So again, the limit was 2.0, and that time it did a 2.5. So it dropped from 3.39 to 2.5 with no other change than denatured alcohol. Well, I was there waiting forever, and I kind of got cocky, and I drove the car straight to the emissions place with the alcohol in the tank because I was like, yeah, I'll pass. I didn't really go get it warm enough. So I was like, well, it must not be warm enough. So I went around and I beat the living shit out of the car, okay? So I went around the block like 3 times, and by a block it's probably like a square mile. And I just beat the shit out of the car, like constantly. Just as much as I could stay in the throttle and keep the RPMs up, I did. Just to get the cat superheated, blah, blah, blah. So when I was getting close to the place, I'm like, okay, I gotta really hammer on it, whatever. So I drove it like I do when I'm trying to race or whatever. I shifted hard. I let it come up at least to $6 grand or so, or at least 5,500. I didn't want to rev it out too much because of the cats. So speaking of, so I'm on this straight road. I'm nailing on it. I think I was in 2nd or 3rd gear. I think I was at the top of 3rd. I was at probably 5,000, 6,000. I mean 5,500 RPMs, just like way up there. And I hear this ping noise. Okay. It was so obvious, even though the motor's loud and I had the top down and everything. I heard ping. I was like, fuck! I thought I broke the transmission or something. So I look back behind me, expecting like smoke or something, and there's all this dust, and it looks like rocks, like shit getting kicked up. And I was like, well, maybe I just hit a little track of dirt and kicked the rocks up, made the tires squealed a little bit. And that's what the ping I heard. Maybe it was like the suspension overloading or something. I'm sure that will be a nice dent. That was a dumb idea. Let me get these out of the way. So I did that. Let me see, where's this? So I went beat the shit out of it. I heard the ping. Okay. I heard, oh, there's no dent. I don't know, it's windy out here. I'm fucking not even thinking straight. I'm so pissed off. So anyway, I heard the ping. I saw the dirt, and I just assumed it was dirt. The tires spun, and like the suspension unloaded or something, and the control arms snapped to or something. I just figured it was that, okay? I was like, whatever. So I went to the test. Okay, so when I get there, and I'm sitting there idling, my car just sounds like the off-road pipe. Blah, 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 blah. And I was like, whatever. Because I have, I told you I have the exhaust loosened, and I'm sitting there waiting for at least 20 minutes for this them to do this test, and I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, man, this car just sounds louder than normal. All these fucking people were looking at me, fucking all this shit. When I was there the second time, some kid came ask me about my car. He's probably gonna see this video actually, because I gave him my YouTube channel, and talked to him about the car and stuff, and everyone reacted different because emissions place is all stock cars, and then this piece of shit comes in and everyone looks. But anyway, so Blah, 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 blah. So I let it idle the whole goddamn time because I'm like, you know, I'm gonna let it get as hot, let it keep as hot as it can. Let it idle the whole time. Alcohol in the tank. I'm sitting there sweating bullets. That the alcohol is gonna tear up, you know, my fuel lines and all this shit. Tear my pump up. Have to drop the tank, all this stuff. So anyway, long story short, it runs the test and I can tell it's louder. I'm sitting there thinking to myself, well, good. Maybe the exhaust got a lot looser on the mid pipe. So I'm like, you know, good. I'll pass. Blah blah blah. So there's two different ways to pass. There's whatever. So if you pass, if the car burns really clean, the test will end in 60 seconds. Okay, if it's not burning that clean, they do a second run, a second chance. And it's normally, if the results are kind of high, they'll still do the second chance. Just, you know, just try to get better results. So anyway, this fucking thing keeps going out of focus. So anyway, it ends in the first 60 seconds on the third try. I'm like, fuck yes. I'm so happy. I'm fucking smiling. All the guys there, I've been there 4 times to the emissions place, so all the guys there know me. So they're all laughing, you know, smiling with me. The guy that drove the car crossed his fingers, showed us, you know, lifted his hands up, had his fingers crossed for me and all that shit. And I'm fucking laughing and joking with the guy. The guy's asking me what's done to it, and I told him, and blah blah blah, while they're doing their little thing, testing the pump and everything. So anyway, so then there's 2 printers. One printer only prints when it fails, and it started printing. So my fucking stomach sunk. And while they're printing it out, and I'm making out my check, oh, you admiring my crack? So I'm making out my check to them because I had to pay them twice. Okay, I paid them the first time. I got a freebie, and then I had to pay him again for the third test. So this car's been on the rollers 3 times. Actually, I've been there 5 times. It's been on the rollers 3 times now, and it's been failed for visual inspection twice. So when you guys wonder what the fuck I've been up to, that's why. So I don't want to hear it. Oh, what have you been doing? Blah, blah, blah. Hurry up with the supercharger. Believe me, I'm trying. So anyway, so the readings come out. So like I told you, there's the limits. 2.0 for hydrocarbon. 5.2. So the first test was 3.39. Okay, that was with nothing special done. Second test with alcohol was 2.50 or 2.53 with the alcohol. I was really close. Went out to get the cat's hot. So massive failure. That's why the test ended soon. You know why? That ping I heard, that fucking cloud of dust and rocks, that wasn't from the road. That was from my cats. That's right. My catalytic converters exploded. The car is loud as shit. I'm going to get an angle under here. Okay, I'm going to tip you guys upside down so don't get seasick. So, well, there's the subframes. It's hard to see. So, you can probably see now. The cat's under there, okay? So I'm not bullshitting. That, you know, nothing's under there that's not supposed to be, okay? So the cat's under there. I'm turning you guys back over. So, so I leave the place and I'm romping on it and I'm like pissed. I'm beating on the car. I'm squeeching around corners and shit. And the car's just loud as fuck. And I'm just like thinking to myself, I'm like, what the hell could be wrong with it? The alcohol must aid an injector. You know, I'm gonna tear this car apart. I'm like, fuck this car. You know, I have today and tomorrow to myself. I don't have to watch my son. And I'm like, I'm gonna pull the motor apart. I'm gonna pull the heads off. I'm gonna fucking sell all this shit. I'm gonna put the stock cam in, blah, blah, blah. So I'm beating on it. And while I'm beating on it, I noticed that it's pulling just as hard as ever. With the cats on, it runs like complete shit. It runs hot. It's slow. It loses a lot of power. And that's because the cats are too restrictive for this motor being all hopped up. Well, it was pulling just as hard as ever. You know why? Because the fucking cats are gone. So when I got home, I crawled under with a hammer and tapped on the cats, all 4 of them. All of them sound hollow. Sounds like you're beating on an empty fucking pipe. So just to prove it, you guys just saw the cats on there. I'm going to start it up and show you. So if that doesn't prove it, I don't know what does. The cats are fucking gone. It's running a little weird at idle because the alcohol is still in there. There's 2 gallons of alcohol, and I filled up the tank to dilute the alcohol, but there's still obviously going to be a lot of alcohol in the gas. You know, when you pour alcohol, is basically the same thing as seafoam, pretty much. And think about it, they recommend a quart per, 15 gallons, I think it is, right? I have 2 gallons of alcohol in my tank right now, and Mustang's tank's like what, 12, 13 gallons? So it's idling a little weird. It was idling worse than that before I filled it up. So that's the deal. That's the update, guys. I went to emissions 5 times. I had 2 visual failures. One for the EGR tube that goes from the smog pump. There's a tube that goes from the smog pump to this valve, and then the valve has a pipe that goes down under the car, and then there's a tube that goes from that pipe to the exhaust. Okay, the first time I got failed because I didn't have that pipe. I didn't feel like I needed it, so I just ran a hose straight from the smog pump to the exhaust. They failed me because I didn't have that 2-way valve. They say the exhaust could get back into the smog pump and get out, blah blah blah, bullshit. So put that on. It only took me 30 minutes. I came right back. Then they look under the car, and some asshole little manager sees the rubber hose going from the pipe with the valve on it going to the exhaust. He says, oh, well, that can't be there. That hose can't be there. It's rubber. It can fail, blah, blah, blah. That's a requirement, blah, blah, blah. And I fought with him. I almost punched him out. I'm not joking. I fucking cursed out. I fucking tore out of there. He wouldn't give me anything in writing that said the damn thing needed to be welded on. So I got pissed. I went home. I welded a pipe together. I'll show you a little picture. Okay, I welded that together. Don't mind my ugly ass welds. I only have a Harbor Freight welder, and I've only been welding a couple months. So I welded that together to get the right angle. It was a fucking $2 pipe from Home Depot. Fucking sorry about the jerkiness. I'm trying to get this tripod going. So I welded that together, and then I welded it to the exhaust and the EGR tube. Welded it all together. I made the biggest, ugliest welds possible, even with a Harbor Freight welder. I made sure the welds were big and ugly, so they, just to be an asshole, I guess. Just like, there's your fucking welds, asshole. Anyway, so I did that, and so I went back, and it was all good to go. That was the 2 visual parts that I failed. The EGR tube with a valve on it going from the smog pump, and then some stupid fucking rubber hose because that guy's a fucking asshole. I mean, it would have failed anyway because when I came back it failed at that 3.39. So it would have failed anyway, but it's just the principle of the matter. So anyway, so then like you saw, I've been on the rollers 3 times in just today. Or did I go yesterday? Yeah, it was yesterday that I went the first time because I went to Home Depot last night and got the denatured alcohol. Which, if you guys don't know that have emissions tests, denatured alcohol works. You saw from the first test, I went from 3.39 to 2.5. I bet it would have passed the second test, but I bet that 2.5 rating, I bet the caps were already starting to blow apart, or they were clogged. I bet like the first 2 blew apart, and then the second one didn't. So I bet that's what was the second test. The cats were either clogged or starting to come apart already. And that's why I failed. I bet it would have passed otherwise. Because if you read online, Google denatured alcohol emissions, there's tons of people with no cats passing on denatured alcohol. That's how good this shit is. Because alcohol doesn't burn any hydrocarbons or anything. So anyway, so then the cats blew apart. And you heard the car. You saw the cats are still in the car. I mean, it's obvious. Those cats are gone. All 4 of them, I bet. Well, I know they are. I fucking banged on them with a hammer. You don't hear nothing. It's hollow. It sounds like you're beating on an empty fucking, muffler or some shit. It doesn't sound like a normal pipe because of their shape, but whatever. So that's where it sits. I guess I need some high flow cats that can actually deal with the power, which would be nice because then I wouldn't really necessarily lose too much power like I have been when I put this on. And I can get a proper tubing. I can get 2.5 inch tubing instead of the stock 2.25 or 2 inch or whatever the fuck it is. That's restrictive as shit. But I mean, that's all good and well, but here's the downside. High flow cats, proper high flow cats, are not cheap. I think they're $150 to $200 each. Because of the emissions place, this place being strict, I guarantee you they want 4 catalytic converters. Okay, so let's do some math here. $200 each, or even $150, 4 cats. Yeah, and let's not include, you know, probably doing a custom exhaust. If not, you know, getting a $75 off-road pipe and trying to put all that shit, weld all that shit to it. So that's where it's at, guys. To be completely honest and open with you guys, I don't have the money for that kind of exhaust, okay? I got most of my money into that supercharger project that was supposed to start today. Today was the day to get, the car was supposed to been passed. That was my plan. It was supposed to pass already. And today was supposed to be the day to start pulling shit off, pull all the emission shit off, pull the intake, and start installing the supercharger. I got today and tomorrow by myself, and I was planning on have the supercharger kit mostly done, other than installing the snout and shit, the extended snout. So I have all my money in that. All the shit I've been buying lately is all in that. And we're saving up for a trip to go to Florida. So that money's basically already spent. We're going in July because my son is turning 2, and you know, I want my family to see him. I haven't seen him in over 6 months. So I have no money to buy fucking an $800 cat. I mean, even if I buy pre-made high flow ones, I know they're there. But I'm almost certain they use the cheapo $75 high flow cats, which from what I've read, the cheap ones are garbage. They're basically the same thing as stock. I think it's MagnaFlow makes the best high flow cats. I remember some fucking Camaro, I think, had like a big block, and he used the 3-inch high flow cat and did a dyno, and it only lost like 20 or 30 horsepower or some shit like that on a big block, and it was making a fuckload of power. I think it was making I think it was making close to 500 to the tires, all motor, and it didn't lose that much from the cats. That's a shitload more exhaust coming out of there than what my car does. So I figure, so I don't know, dudes. I really don't know. The cats are obviously gone. I thought that alcohol broke something when it failed for gross pollution. I thought that alcohol had ate one of my ejectors up or something, and that's what made it fail. But then it was completely obvious once I started getting down the road that the cats were blowing apart, and then I confirmed it when I got home and I tapped on them with a hammer. So you guys wanted updates? There's your update. I don't know what to do. The car has to pass emissions. Has to. I don't get it registered. I'm already a month late. It was due in February. You have until the end of March. It's now April, the middle of April, towards the end of April, and it hasn't passed. So I already got a late, you know, I'm going to have a late fee. If I don't get this shit sorted by the end of the month, I'm going to have a second late fee. That's $50 together. So that's where it sits. I honestly don't know what to do. I can't put on the supercharger until it passes, because supercharger is just going to complicate shit. I'm going to be tuning the car myself, and I've never tuned a car. Okay, I have confidence that I can make it run good enough to race, but I really don't have confidence that I can make it run good enough to pass emissions with the supercharger. And I don't have the money to pay someone $550 to tune it properly, you know, and not use what I already have, you know, use my tuner. They use their own shit, and I don't want that anyway. I want to be able to keep tuning my stuff if I up the boost or I change something. So to be completely honest with you guys, I don't know what to do at this time right now, because this just happened. So I don't know what to do. I've got to get some high flow cats, because if I get a stock system, it's just going to blow apart again, and I don't really have the money for it. So I don't know. If you guys have suggestions, let me know. If you guys know of a proper high flow cat, don't send me these links to this $300 things on American Muscle, $300 mid pipes with cats. I'm telling you, those are all garbage. The cheap ones are all garbage cats, and I guarantee you my car would blow those apart too. So I I guess that's it. I mean, it's a 20-minute video, so I doubt even, you know, a quarter of my subscribers will stick around this long. So you guys wanted updates? That's your update. Car's pretty much fucked right now. I guess I'll have to wait a paycheck or two, save as much as possible, and either find a proper high flow cat or fucking have a custom one made with high flow, you know, buying the cat separate from the dim exhaust system. So that's your update, guys. Leave comments, any advice, but I pretty much know what's up. So it is what it is, and it ain't when it ain't. And you know, I've never had good luck with this car. Every time I do anything to it, something goes wrong. And I know I'm just bitching, but that's the fucking name of the game when you're doing this shit. So especially trying to make power and pass emissions, strict ass emissions at that. So thanks, fellas. Later.